Hey guys, it's Brian from Quit and Conquer. In today's video, I wanted to kind of go over my somewhat unconventional means of remaining clean and sober long term. And I say it's somewhat unconventional because while in my first year of recovery, I did go to NA pretty consistently, I did stop going. And while I was attending NA meetings, I never really got a sponsor. I never really did step work, so I can't ever really say that I took part in the program. And I want to make clear that I am not recommending not going to AA or NA. They are excellent programs. They're extremely effective. But after going for a year, I just didn't really feel like it was for me. Which is why I stopped going. But one thing that did make sense to me while I was going to the meetings, you hear this this concept of white knuckling it. And if you're unfamiliar with the term, what it means is you trying to remain clean and sober based off of willpower alone, without any outside support or outside means of help. And when you're in AA, you hear this concept of remaining clean and sober without living clean and sober. And in AA, you have this concept of a dry drunk, which is somebody who continues to live like they did previously while they were using drugs, while they were drinking, but who just no longer drinks or uses drugs anymore. And it became pretty clear to me that if I wasn't going to partake in NA, AA, or some other type of fellowship, I was going to need some alternative means of remaining clean and sober long term and actually recovering. And the way in which I did that was kind of reorienting my core beliefs about the way that life works and the way in which I operate throughout it. So this video is kind of going over those core beliefs. And my hope is that if you do go to AA or NA, there's still something in this video that you might be able to get out of. And if you have tried NA or AA and it doesn't seem like it's for you, it might spark some questions about how you should reorient your own life to remain clean and sober for the long haul. So my recovery rests on the core belief or assumption that I could build a life filled with such meaning and purpose that I'm unwilling to throw it away under any circumstance. And I kind of look at this like laying bricks for a house that fortifies my recovery. And this is kind of based off the idea that all life is suffering. And I don't want to sound dramatic, but when you really think about it, in life, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of struggle, there's a lot of hardship. And the only way to really make any of that worthwhile is to have some sense of concrete meaning in your life. So then the question becomes, how do I build a life filled with purpose and meaning? And in this video, I want to kind of go over, there's a few core tenets that underlie this entire framework. And, you know, I want to preface all of this by saying I don't like coming off as preachy, and I don't want to tell anybody else how to live their life. But there's a quote I like, I think it's by Orson Scott Card, and it says, "We question all of our beliefs except for those that we truly believe in, and those we never really think to question." And these are the things that I stopped questioning a long time ago. And because of that, it's hard for me to not talk about them with a lot of conviction and maybe some colorful language. So the first thing that I want to talk about, and the first thing that kind of underpins this entire framework, is the concept of responsibility. I truly believe that we derive meaning in our lives from the responsibilities that we take on. So if you want to maximize the meaning in your life, you should increase the amount of responsibility that you have. In fact, you should take on as much responsibility as you can possibly manage. And I think obviously you don't want to take on too much responsibility, but I think that's way less common than people either not taking on enough responsibility or not wanting to take on responsibilities at all. So you have to look around and find your burden and pick up that burden and then carry it uphill. You take responsibility for yourself, then you take responsibility for your family, and then if you can and you have anything left over, you take responsibility for your community. Because when it comes down to it, you need a reason to get out of bed in the morning. And this is especially true when times are tough, and eventually, man, life will show up and times are going to be tough. But when you have some clear sense of purpose, you manage to find a way to get out of bed anyways. Because when you really think about it, the universe does not care, man. Like, the sun is going to rise, the sun is going to set no matter what. And increasing the amount of responsibilities that you have in your life to increase the amount of meaning and the sense of purpose that you have in your life is one of the best things that you could do for yourself. The second part to this framework, and something that I place a lot of emphasis on in my own life, is this idea of making continuous progress. And there's something that I hear a lot nowadays that I don't truly believe. This idea of that, you're good enough how you are. And I don't really think that's true. I think there's always room for improvement. We can always be better. So we should look to continuously better ourselves, better our circumstances. And you should do this on a daily basis. You should wake up asking yourself, what can I do today that will improve my circumstances just a little bit tomorrow? And the problem with this is that in the beginning, you might not be able to perceive much progress. What you can do today might not have that much glory in it. Like if you're really out of shape, what you can accomplish today might not feel like much. But when you commit to making progress and you take that step today, you set yourself up to take a slightly bigger step tomorrow and a slightly bigger step the next day and the next day. And you do this over a long enough time horizon, and you really start to stride. And I think another problem with this is that we tend to compare ourselves to other people rather than to ourselves. And the issue with this is, first off, those other people that you're comparing yourself to, they're not you. They don't have your character traits. They don't have your flaws. They don't have your family. They don't have your intelligence. And the other problem with it is that when we compare ourselves to other people, it ends up really being an illusion because we compare ourselves to the highlight reel of others. We compare ourselves to what we see on social media that other people post and what we've heard about them, how much they make, this and that. But you don't really know what's going on inside their head. You don't know what internal struggles they have. You don't know all the hard work and sacrifice it took them to get to that point. So the only way, the best baseline for you to compare yourself to is yourself. So the way in which you do this is you compare yourself today to who you were yesterday. The third thing that kind of underlines this whole framework of which I've built for myself is the concept of hard work. I think, especially nowadays, we have a tendency to wish things that were easier, or to try to make things easier for ourselves. And I think it was really important for myself to just get over that. You know, life isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to take work. You know, when you really think about it, anything worth pursuing is uphill. If you want to quit drinking and you want to quit using drugs and get sober, it's uphill. If you want to build a relationship, get married, have children, it's uphill. If you want to start your own business, it's uphill. So take the fucking hill. I think one of the problems with this is that in the beginning, when you're first starting out, you really might not know what hill to take. But the important part is that you aim up. Because in the beginning, the plan that you could set for yourself might not be that great. It actually might be pretty shitty. But by pursuing that goal and working through that plan, you put yourself in a better position to make a better plan. You know, you acquire skills and knowledge, and you learn what's important to you. And when it comes down to it, success isn't a straight line. You know, it's up and down and sideways. But you're never going to just stumble across success. You can't hit what you don't aim for. If you talk to somebody who's extremely successful and you ask them how they did it, they're never going to tell you, I don't know. You know, there's this other quote that I like that goes, the work works on you more than you work on it. And what that means is that what's more important than the outcome of the actual work itself is the person that you become by going through it. And by pursuing difficult things, you become a stronger, more capable, more intelligent individual. And this goes back to the idea of focusing on progress and transcending your current self, because when it really comes down to it, you don't have anything better to do. Now, I want to make clear that while I talked about all these pieces separately, you know, responsibility, progress, and hard work, they're all interconnected, and there's a lot of overlap in between them. And what it comes down to really is you trying to reach your full potential. My life is now based around me trying to reach my full potential. And as long as I continue to place such a high importance on that, and I understand that none of that is able to happen without me remaining clean and sober, I am able to do it for the long haul. At least that's the assumption that I've been making in my recovery, and thus far it has been working. So what I really did after my first year of recovery, and I felt like I was able to stop just trying to get through the day and look into the future, you know, I really started to concentrate on what was important to me. I learned to manage my time. I got my priorities in order, and then I focus on working on them relentlessly, day in and day out. And the life that I have now is so different from the life that I had 3 years ago. When I really think about it sometimes, I almost can't believe it. And in the times where I do feel like I wish I could drink, I wish I could use again, and the times that I feel like I'm jealous of people who are able to live a normal life and go out on the weekends and party, you know, I'm quickly able to look around at the life that I have now and remind myself that none of that is worth it. So that wraps up my somewhat unconventional means of remaining clean and sober. You know, if you like the content that you saw here, we're trying to put out more on our channel. Please like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so that you get notified when we post new videos. And if you're like reading recovery related content, you could check out our website, quitandconquer.com. That's quit with a T. There you'll find a lot of blog articles about my experiences in recovery and personal development. And we post weekly between the YouTube channel and the website. So I just want to thank everyone for watching and hope you have a good day.